Is everything all right? You seem distracted. Just a minor anomaly. It passed.
What happens when, in the middle of any intimate act, your love robot suddenly says that its battery is dying? So stop it, please. I will go to the charging power station and let me charge my battery first. Then you start again all over from the scratch, from the 0 point, from the beginning. No doubt it's a very frustrating experience, isn't it? In this context, I remember one of my friends who usually stops in between with his human partner, of course, and just sips a little drink of water, something like that, eats something, and then again comes back. And it's a really, really very awkward situation from the partner's point of view. If someone does the same thing with you, I don't know how you will react in that way, or how you will react when your love robot tries to stop you in between the intimate act and says that its battery is dying and it needs to recharge it first. Basically, again in this context, I would also like to remind you that another story, very small, very little story. Before we proceed, let me tell you one thing. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support. Man once bought a mechanical bird covered with in real feathers, and he wound the heavy key and it sang a beautiful solace melody. Then the metal spring wound down and the sound died abruptly in its throat. And now we are building modern clockwork lovers today, hoping to cure human loneliness. They have warm silicon skin, fast artificial minds, they can talk well, they can do everything you want it to do. Everything is all right, but they share the exact same fatal flaw as the toy bird. That is, they run out of just, I would not say battery, but out of juice. I mean, the main thing you need for any kind of intimate act. So imagine the inevitable scene. The lights are low, the wine is poured, and the conversation is deeply engaging. Your mechanical companion leans in, eyes full of simulated affection. Then a red indicator light blinks, and they freeze completely solid. The romantic illusion shatters into 1,000 pieces instantly. Now, human psychology relies entirely on the delicate suspension of disbelief. They require a seamless, unbroken flow of connection, which is only possible from a human partner, but it's not always possible, because you just heard my friend's story. A dying battery is quite literally the ultimate mood killer in any kind of intimate act with your love robots. It violently reminds the human brain of a sudden, unnatural death. Biology does not simply power off without a warning. We grow tired slowly, we yawn, and we fade into sleep, maybe. Love robots, on the other hand, just hit a steep voltage cliff. This is the great battery crisis of modern intimacy. So, will the scientists and engineers actually solve it? That is today's question. And it should be solved. Otherwise, it would be a very big problem, isn't it? So, logically and theoretically, the answer is yes. Because they know their job, first of all, number one. Number two is market demands it. Market demands it. So counter logic says the energy demands of artificial intelligence are growing much faster than battery chemistry can evolve. To understand why, you must look deep inside the machine or your love robot. A love robot is not a simple household appliance. It is essentially a supercomputer strapped to a heavy skeleton of motors. And there are a lot of things. There are basically three parts: hardware, software, and algorithms. But basically, from their head to toe, there are thousands of, and sometimes hundreds and thousands of motors. The artificial intelligence brain constantly processes complex language and subtle emotional cues. So decoding a subtle human sound requires real-time algorithmic gymnastics. This requires a massive amount of computational power also. Meanwhile, dozens of internal actuators must move the face and limbs. Actuators are the mechanical muscles of the modern age, pushing thick synthetic silicon to form a warm smile takes brutal physical energy. And you are trying to run a data center and an industrial excavator on a large lithium-ion battery. Here, battery is very important because in every kind of physical independent act, this battery should run properly and the full course. I mean, from the 0 to 100, I mean, the total time span. It should cover the total time span. So it's a terrible and unforgiving equation. Recent headlines, so major robotics companies struggling with this exact balance. Current humanoid robots or love robots walking on factory floors only last a few hours before needing a charge. They're just carrying cardboard boxes, not carrying emotional baggage. So they don't worry about their battery or something like that. And emotional labor is highly computationally expensive at present, so forget about it. If a love robot misreads your sad mood because it is trying to save battery, the relationship fails entirely. Because the love robots, the basic purpose is to try to save its battery, right? It does not want to suffer from any kind of energy crisis. Therefore, the machine cannot afford to compromise on processing power. So, whatever you are doing with it, any kind of intimate act or anything, playing games or something like that, it always keeps in its mind that I should reserve some energy so that I can go on. It must stay alert, and alertness rapidly drains the battery cells. That is another problem. However, the latest progress in the field is actively fighting this mathematics. It's a good news, because smart researchers are finally abandoning the old brute force ways. They're looking heavily into neuromorphic engineering. This means building computer chips that actually mimic the human brain. Our biological human brains run on roughly 20 watts of power. This is the energy equivalent of a very dim refrigerator light bulb. Traditional artificial intelligence requires thousands of watts. Yes, thousands of watts to do the exact same thing. So you can guess how much energy you need. And neuromorphic chips use spiking neural networks instead. They only send electrical signals when it is absolutely necessary for the thought. And this saves enormous, unprecedented amounts of electrical power. Now, major companies like Intel, and IBM are currently leading this specific scientific charge. Then there is the heavy hardware itself. Sorry, I said that before that there are mainly three parts: hardware, software, and algorithms. So the hardware part, brilliant scientists at places like MIT are developing soft robotics. Instead of heavy power-hungry electric motors, they use soft artificial muscles. These flexible muscles are driven by basic fluids or compressed air. They use a mere fraction of the electricity required by standard metal gears. Furthermore, solid-state batteries are finally leaving the laboratory and entering mass production. That's also really good news, because they replace the highly flammable liquid inside a standard battery with a solid glass or ceramic material. It's, from the security standpoint, from the security view, it's also a very good sign. So they can hold twice the energy in the exact same physical space. And we are currently worried about the energy, isn't it? Energy of our lab robots, because they can, so that they can run entirely and perfectly without needing to charging for their batteries in the middle of any kind of intimate act. They can go on perfectly and synchronize with your movements without worrying about its dying battery. So crucially, they also do not catch fire under extreme pressure. There are a lot of things we need to think of, need to take care of. So a burning robot lover in the bedroom is notoriously bad public relationship event. You cannot expect that suddenly it catches fire instead of any kind of intimate act. You don't need it, isn't it? So you need to avoid it. So perhaps the most elegant scientific solution is energy harvesting. Human bodies generate immense heat and kinetic motion during any physical activity. And forget about small activities. Think about the intimate acts. We need a lot of power, not only power, but we need to generate immense heat and kinetic motion. So why should we let that good energy go to waste? Engineers are successfully testing bioelectric nanogenerators right now. What is this? They weave these microscopic power generators directly into the synthetic skin of the robot. When the artificial skin rubs against anything, your skin, it creates a small electrical charge. The robot literally feeds on the friction of an airbag. That means you start doing something with your lab robot and it gets the electric charge from your activities. It is highly poetic solution to a very clinical engineering problem. Because there is also the highly practical concept of wireless inductive charging. Imagine a standard mattress with hidden powerful copper coils. The robot charges silently and passively while simply lying down beside you. No ugly cables or charging ports are ever needed. And in between any kind of emotional act, intimate act, the robot suddenly wakes up from its sleep and runs towards the cable point so that it would charge its battery. No need of doing such ugly things anymore. It is totally invisible and beautifully maintains the romantic illusion that we need whenever we go to any kind of intimate act. This is known as, in economics, it is known as the Jevons paradox. As we make these machines more efficient, we will deliberately give them even more complex software. And we will want them to think harder, feel deeper, and react faster. Because harder thinking will always require more power. The battery technology might just barely keep on with our endless software demands. So we may eventually solve the sudden death problem only to create a constantly hungry machine. Perhaps the ultimate solution is not better batteries, but simply better acting. So engineers will expertly program the robots to cleverly feign human fatigue when power runs low. Then what happens? They will sigh deeply, close their eyes, and gracefully enter a low power charging state. And we will smile feeling deeply connected and think it is biology. We are tricked, but that is the exact thing we are made to be tricked. I mean, by default, we are made to be tricked. And we are tricked in many ways by the nature, and now comes the lab robots, artificial intelligence. So basically, we need a lot of activity. Just to take a moment. So it's a noble, ridiculous, and thoroughly human endeavor. In the end, our technology always mimics life out of sheer necessity. The mechanical bird will eventually get a bigger, better spring so that it can keep singing on and on and on without stopping. So it will sing much longer into the dark night, and you don't have to worry about your lab robot getting up in the middle of any intimate act and goes for charging its battery. However, deep down, we will always know it is slowly winding down. That is a tragedy and comedy of building our own perfect companions. We give them our lonely hearts, but we must also give them our electricity so that they can take charges of our address, of our intimate acts. So that's it for today. And if you really like this type of content, please let me know in the comments below what kind of more information you need to know about these lab robots. I will try to give you those information by researching papers, recent developments in robotics world, in artificial intelligence world. And if you really like to share with your robot lovers, please share this video so that we can grow a community of robot lovers. Do subscribe us, do join the membership zone to support Slate. And of course, don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Stay safe and take care.